Hi, I'm Dr. Nick. Thank you for joining me on part three of our series on how to help your child succeed in school. So today I'm going to focus on how we can build up our children's self-belief. We need our children to have high self-belief and great self-confidence. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So let's get straight in.
We need to help our children to believe in themselves. Yes? I mean, without self-belief, what can you really do? Not much, to be frank. So what we have to do is to get them to believe, in themselves. And that will start when we start showing them that we believe in them. It's kind of funny because children don't just automatically grow self-belief. No. It's when us as adults, as parents, as tutors, as teachers, start showing them that we believe in them, that's when they start to believe in themselves. Because once we start showing them that we believe in them, they can then start modeling that and then get the same energy and the same vibe from it. And as they start to work a bit better, because now you start showing belief in them, they will now start doing better. And as they start doing better, their own self-belief will start to grow because they will feel like, okay, but I can do it. I can do it. And that will also lead to their self-confidence. Because self-belief will push self-confidence and vice versa. Yes, so both will push each other. So let's say, for example, your child is not very good in maths and you start showing them, but yeah, you're showing them that you believe that they can do it. The teachers are really helpful and they're showing them that they can do it. Eventually that child will start to pick up a little bit more in maths. They start learning a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And as they start learning a little bit more, they start even believing more in themselves, that I can do it. And as they start feeling that, they have more confidence, because self-confidence will only come when you start doing things. So as they start doing it, they feel more competent, they feel more comfortable, and that's how their self-confidence will grow. And as the confidence go up, the self-belief go up. And the self-belief goes up, confidence goes up, and it just keep going and going and going. And that's how we get children who are really self-confident and also have really strong self-belief. They do know what they're able to do and what they're not able to do. And we need to ensure that our children do understand that, okay? And as early as possible. So we need to start that from literally from their babies, to ensure that they have that, so they can grow with that feeling, because this is all important. A lot of this is psychological, and as you might know, learning is more psychological than anything else. So it's all, and success is the same thing. It's about what's going on in the mind. So we need to ensure that we're getting our children to have a really positive mindset about themselves and what they can and can't do. And then they're not afraid to ask for help. They know when they need help. They have high self-esteem, etc. Okay. Again, if you have any points, just put it on the chat. So when I go to the Q&A session, I will be able to pick up on those, and then we can go further into those points that you raised. Okay. Right. Provide your children with guidance and direction. I mean, children really, really need guidance and direction. They need to be directed where they should be going. So as parents, we have to set them boundaries. Set the boundaries. Set high standard for them. Challenge them to do well. Challenge them to do better. Yes, we have to always be challenging our children, because, again, they can get a little bit lackadaisical. Some of them even can get a bit lazy. Some of them will lose their enthusiasm. But as parents, we have to always be guiding them and showing them the bigger picture. And this is where we set goals with them. So, for example, when I meet, some students, and let's say a child is in year 4, and we're looking at the year 6 stats, that's 2 years away. But now you start building that child, build up a goal to show this child what's going to happen in the next 2 years. So that will help them to stay motivated, because, you have the bigger picture. And once they start seeing the big picture, then their motivation will be a bit more stable. So we need to be showing them the big picture, help them to set goals, short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. Let them, get them to have a vision of their lives when they're older. What kind of life would they want? Would they be proud of the life that they have when they are 20, 25, 30 years old? And, and it all starts when they're quite young, because you've got to show them that vision. Set goals with them, direct them, guide them, set them high standards. Again, sometimes if you set a child a low standard, they will achieve it, and then they will not have anything else to do, and they believe that's all they can achieve because that's what you set them. But if you raise the bar and set them a higher standard, they will also achieve this and feel that they can only achieve that. And if you set it even higher, they can achieve it. So it's always about pushing that bar a bit higher and higher every time to get the standard up. And that standard will also help them to form their self-identity. And remember, when we identify ourselves as a particular way, we will always try to be that way. So if you're identified as being a lazy student, for example, then generally you're going to always meet that target, because how you identify yourself is how you will live your life. But if you identify yourself as a hard-working student who is smart, who can do well, who knows how to work, then they're independent, then that is the habit you're going to see. That's the pattern you're going to see within that child, because our behaviors is directly influenced by how we see ourselves. So it's very important that we guide and direct our children to where we want them to go. Yes? So set them the standards. You, as the parent, it's your responsibility to provide that guidance. We're going to take charge of our children's education. We can't just leave the schools to do it. Obviously, school has a role to play, but parents have even a bigger role to play. So we have to take charge of our children's education. We can't leave the school to do it. We don't have to understand the curriculum fully to know exactly what they're learning in school day by day, minute by minute. We don't need to know that. We need to know the big picture. What is it? How are they performing as a whole? What are they likely to achieve at the end of school? At the end of school, if they achieve a certain grades, what will that do for them? Will they be able to go on to sixth form, to go on to college, to go on to university? We need to be aware of these things. Are they failing? Each year, are they making progress or not? Keep the school reports. Analyze the school reports. Sometimes the reports are complicated and parents don't understand them. But find a tutor, find somebody who understands them and will give you their honest opinion on it. I mean, bring them to me by all means. Yes, you can always email them to me or WhatsApp them to me or something. I would happy to go through them and explain them to you, because sometimes the reports are a little bit hard to understand, and sometimes they are very casual in the way they're written. So there is no real substance in them to tell you how well your child is doing, if they're doing well or not doing well. The language is just very buttery, and it's more about the behavior of the child as opposed to the academic achievement of the child. So as parents, we need to be mindful and be aware of how our children are performing. Get the data, get the evidence, see how they're performing. Again, you can always, if the school is not providing that information, which some of them only provide a report once a year, some provide a report every term. So it depends on the school that your child is in. But if you're not getting that information coming through and you're not really assured of how well your child is doing, get an external tutor, get somebody external to assess your child. I mean, I do even a free assessment, which again, you can find on my website. So I even run a free assessment session for children, because parents want to know. So often people contact me about assessments, so I do it for free, because it doesn't take me that much time and effort to do them. So I provide them for free and get an insight into what the students are about. And they're very, very helpful. They're very insightful. Sometimes I meet students who are in year 8, but they're working at year 5. That's like 3 years behind. But parents don't really know that, because they never really check the reports properly and understand what was going on with them in school. They just take it as face value. Teacher said, oh, they're fine. And then they just work with that. So we have to be very careful. We got to take charge of our children's education. It's their future. And if we're their parents, we're responsible for their future. So we should take charge of it, not just leave schools to do it. As I said earlier, they have unlimited potential. They can achieve anything that they want to achieve. But at the same time, they need a team. They need support. Who is in their corner? Who have their interest at heart? They need someone there for them. And who is the best person to be there for them? Their parents, of course. You should be the leader of that team. The team will consist of teachers, obviously. Teachers, other professionals, maybe GPs, dentists, whatever. But let's focus on the education side for now. So obviously a team of teachers, most likely, you're going to have to manage. because you're the parent, you're in charge of your child's education, you're the leader. So you're going to have to manage the teachers to get the results you want. Oftentimes I meet parents who haven't got a clue what's going on in school. And then I have to be doing the kind of, some of the support work to find out what's going on in school, writing the letters and all these things, sending the emails and stuff on their behalf, because again, we need that information, but it's not coming through. So if you don't know how to approach this and how to get the information that you need to check up on your child, get an external tutor, get somebody who knows what you're doing to support you. I'm happy to support you if you need me to. You have my contact details. Feel free to contact me if you think you need that support. Okay? Also, we have to be able to recognize when our children need support. What are some of the telltale signs that they need support? How do you know when your child or your children need support from you? Again, you can put it on the chat. How do you know that? Children need support all the time. Well, obviously some more than others. But how do we know? Now we have to, again, going back to the point, we have to listen to them. They might not come and tell us that, hey, mom or dad, I need support, but they will show signs that they need support. Oftentimes they'll complain that things are too hard. And if they keep on complaining that the work is too hard, things are too difficult for them, then chances are they need some support. Sometimes they will shy away from doing things. They try their best not to do a particular homework. They try their best not to participate in class because maybe they find it too difficult, too challenging. So they're not assured, they're not comfortable. It's out of their comfort zone. So at that stage, they might need some form of support. They might complain that they're stressed or they're tired or they're overwhelmed. Again, that means they need some form of support. So we have to be checking our children all the time. Just listen to them. Listen to the language they're using. Listen to those words very carefully. Be actively listening to them. Observe them when they're talking to you. Are they making eye contact with you, for example? Are they fidgety? Are they looking confident? And ask them, do you need some support? They might say no. Because a lot of times I've met families who tell me that the children said no, they don't want any support. But after speaking with the children and explaining things to them, then you realize that, oh, they do need support. And they're like, yeah, I think I do. And they'll be fine from that point onwards. But sometimes just the initial stage to open up and say, yes, I do require support. Because sometimes they don't even know. Deeply inside of them, they don't really know that they need support. They just think it's just the way things are. But we as adults, we have to be mindful that there's no such thing as this is how things are. Things can always be improved. So we need to instill in our children, get them the support they need. The other points as well, to show us that they might need support. Some of them will come and tell us directly. Yeah, some of them will need to be anxious about school and talking to teachers and stuff. And when you go to parent evenings as well, teachers will tell you sometimes that they need support. Sometimes they will not say anything. They will just pretend that the child is doing fine. And hence I said, the data is what you should be looking at. Check their books as well. Getting their books from school is not that hard. You can request the teachers to send the books home and you can just check through the books, see how they're doing. If a child is doing well in school, you should see that in the book. You should see some evidence in the book. It's not really hard to see that this child book is it's on point. They're doing what they're meant to do. You can see the book is marked. There's a lot of work being done. There's a lot of things being right. It's easy to see that. But some children will come home with a book and you see 2 lines for a whole hour lesson. It's only 2 lines written. You'll be thinking to yourself, what's going on here? Are you actually doing anything in school? You don't have to be a teacher or a genius to realize that, look in the book and realize that this child is not doing well or this child is doing well. It's quite easy to spot. So ask them to bring their books home sometimes. Email the teachers, request the books. That's all information you're going to need to know how well your child is doing. Because if you know how well they're doing or how poorly they're doing, then you can get the right support. Okay? You can get the support that they need. You can put the support in place.
Thank you for listening to part 3. So just to recap, part 3 was about how we can help our children to develop their self-belief, how we can help them to believe more in themselves. And that's by us modeling and showing them how much we believe in them and how much we expect from them. So with that said, let's focus on part 4. So I'm urging you to go and listen to part 4 of the series. Part 4 is all about how to help our children create the right learning environment, the right atmosphere where they can learn and be at their best. So please, I'm urging you, go and listen to part 4 of this series. Thank you very much.